What is going on, guys? In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about a cringy story time that I probably shouldn't talk about, but, whatever. This is my first kiss, so let's get into it. So, about a few months ago, actually, it's almost been a year now that I think about it, I was talking with this one girl. Now, I had known this girl since I went to my mom's work for, Bring Your Kid to Work Day. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but, there's Bring Your Kid to Work Day. Oh, yeah, you guys go to my school, so you'll know. But, so I go to my mom's work, and I meet this girl, and for the sake of the story, I'm going to name her, Bella. Now, me and Bella were talking and stuff, and, kind of hanging out, but kind of not. And Bella was a bit younger than me. She's about 3 months younger than me. And so me and Bella were talking, and she was, asking me if I was, gay and shit, which was kind of funny, because I'm not. But, it was just kind of funny. I don't know. We also joked because at my mom's work, they gave us these stupid visitor passes. And so it had a big V on it, and we made the joke about, virginity and shit, which is kind of funny. But she added me on Snap, texted my number. I added her on Snap, texted her, called her, the next night. And then we didn't talk for a few months. Until one day, we ended up calling and yapping for, an hour and a half, I think it was. And then I had to go to bed because I was going out with my mom the next day. And then me and her didn't talk for another couple months, and then we ended up talking right before I started dating my longest relationship, which is a girl from Kansas. I'll explain that in another story time, but I ended up talking to her, and we were going to date, and then she kind of just you know when someone lets you down easy and stops talking to you? Yeah, that's kind of what she did. And so she let me down easy, and I think she regretted it, but knew I was taken at that point. So she was disappointed. So anyway, a month rolls around, we go ahead, and I haven't talked to her much that month. And I ended the relationship with the girl in Kansas, because we all know long distance doesn't really work sometimes, and, well, that's life. So we go, and I start talking to this other girl, and that's also where I met someone else. I know she can see my story, so shout out to her if you know who you are. But started talking to her, and then the whole thing of that happened, and well, I ended up talking with the girl again. I think it was a Thursday night we started talking, and then I called her the next day, and she asked me if we could date, and I said yeah. So the same girl, Bella girl, had asked me out. We started dating, blah, blah, blah. Called that night. I asked my parents if I could go over to her house the next day. They said, sure. So I go over into my mom's car and ask her. And at the same time, the girl had asked me if I could sleep over at her house. Now, my parents are the type that won't let me sleep over at a girl's house. They'll let me do other things, but they won't let me sleep over at a girl's house. So they said no to that, but I had 4 hours. So we drive into Winnipeg and go to the girl's house after we went to Safeway, and I go up to her doorstep thing, and she lets me in, right? And so I walk into this main area, and I look up and I look at her, and I just fucking went for it, guys. No embarrassment. I just fucking went for it, and I kissed her, and I was fucking tweaking out because this is the first time I'd ever kissed a girl, right? And so we go, and I go hang out in her room, and she's hugging me and stuff, and trying to make out with me. And so we end up making out for a solid 2 hours that night. Guys, it went from my first kiss to a makeout session. And I don't like getting into details because that's fucking disturbing, but let's just say that was an exhilarating night and kind of shook my mind a little bit for a day and a bit. And then that week goes by, and she ends up losing her phone. Now, I hadn't talked to her, but she has multiple friends that have, other accounts and stuff. So they have, their own accounts, and she added me on there and started talking to me on theirs. And then some nights she would get her phone to call me, and I remember I'd be walking back, on the overpass by my house, and we'd be walking back, and she would call me, and that was actually very fun to talk to her. And then Friday night rolled around, and we were talking and stuff, and I'm like, okay. Well, let's hang out. And she's like, okay. So I go to bed that night, and I go garage sailing with my mom, because that's my favorite thing to do, is go garage sailing. And we end up meeting up at her house at around 1:15 in the afternoon. First off, we go sit down, kiss each other, sit down, make out. You know how it goes. And then I decided to go get her a drink. Now, at the time, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to be over. Her aunt and her uncle had banned me from coming over. And so we go get the drink. And of course, like coincidence, her aunt and her uncle drive by and snap on her. They call her, they text her and all this stuff. And so she sees, she freaks out, and we end up going back to her house. We go into the house, and she tells her mom, and her mom freaking tweaks out on her, like, you fucked us up, you fucked this over, blah blah blah, all this shit. And so we go sit down in her room, and you can see she's crying. And so I try to calm her down, but that doesn't work, and I just freak out in my mind because I'm awkwardly standing there while she gets yelled at. I end up walking to the door. I look at her and I say goodbye, get my shoes on, and I left the apartment. Now, when I left the apartment, her mom started screaming at her, and you could hear it echoing off all the walls of this apartment. And so we go, and I go into my mom's car, and me and my mom were talking and all this. Tell my mom what happens as I'm kind of freaking out because my medication hadn't kicked in properly at this point yet. And so talked to my mom about it, and she's like, yeah, I don't know if that relationship's gonna last. And so I end up going, I leave the house, I go to my grandma's house, lay down in her basement, sit there, listen to Be Quiet and Drive Far Away by Deftones, which at the time was a song that fuck with my head a lot, but you know, that's life, I guess. And she ends up telling me we need a break, tries to break up with me. And so I'm like, okay. And so I break up with her the next day, and she's instantly dry. Drier than like the Sahara Desert. Fuck, I can't say it right. And yeah, we just broke up at that point. And that's the first girl I kissed. Next day I found out I needed surgery, and about 2 weeks later I kissed another girl, which was okay. It was better than the first time. But yeah, it was also recorded. There's a video out there somewhere of me kissing the second girl I kissed. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that's my story time. You guys wanted it. Shout out to all the kids that wanted their shout out at my school. You know, shout out in my video. All the kids in science, photography, all those classes, history even, gym class, and most of all, my hardware and software class. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one whenever I post another video. Peace out, guys.